We're rolling.
Oh, we're rolling? Oh, I'm just playing with Max here. He loves his tennis ball. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, we're rolling. Yeah, Cam Girl said it. We're rolling. He doesn't usually miss. He doesn't usually miss. He doesn't always want to give up the ball. Are you ready? Oh, that's twice, man, on camera. That's twice you missed and you blew it. You lost the ball. He's got lots of tennis balls, though. But, yeah, man. Sharp Customs. Oh, look, he found it. Of course, he wants to keep playing. Johnny wants to do a video. Good catch. Good catch. Okay, let me do the video. Let me do the video. Let me do the video. Oscar wants to get in on the action. Our dog with his fat growth on his side. People have asked me about that. That's just a fat growth. He's an old boy. It's not worth, you know, it's not worth getting rid of because he's an old boy, you know. But yeah. Okay, video, boys. Oh, now they want to play. Now they want to play. Oscar puts old Mad Max in his place. Trust me. Look at this. Look at this. They're gonna steal the show. That's what they're doing. They're gonna steal the show. Okay, boys. Hey, Johnny's doing a video. Hey, Johnny's doing a video. Go lay down. Good boys. Go lay down. Go lay down, Oscar. Oh, come here, big boy. Come here, big boy. There you go. Put you up in the chair. Okay, you go lay down. Yeah, Johnny will play with you after the video. Okay? I'll play with you after the video. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Sit. Can you sit? Can you sit? Good boy. There you go. Yeah, good. Alrighty. Sharp Customs. Yeah. The dogs want to play. So, giving you some more content, man. On this, we're not doing a quarter scale cart tonight. You believe that? They're sitting on the floor right there. We got the coupe. We got the jackrabbit. Notice it's all dirty. It's dusty. You know why? Because it's been sitting upstairs, kind of collecting dust for quite a few months. I think it's almost due to take it out for a rip. I love that little car, man. I love those Raycos. You know, I almost wanna take it. It's not the same wheelbase, but you know, it's a you know, these old Raycos, the majority of them, they're pan cars. And when I say pan cars, the best way I can explain it is you look at the bottom, it's a pan. You know, it's just an aluminum pan. I love a chassis car, but I'd love to take this. One of these bodies, believe it or not, would fit on this car. Now, I have to change the front a little bit. Kind of like what I did with the Baja. This one, it's pretty original, and I don't really want to mess with it. You know, it's my first Rayco that I got my hands on, and it just works so good. It could use you know, some shock work. The suspension, the shocks are, you know, they crapped out all the oil. Could use probably some new seals in those shocks. But anyhow, tonight it's about this this boat. So what I did is I delaminated the top from the base. Actually came off pretty easy, wasn't glued on. You can see where all the white is, and you can see spots. There was actually spots where it wasn't, really wasn't joined quite properly. But I'm just gonna set the topper aside for a second. Yeah, we got the furnace running. It's cold here in southern Ontario today. It's like, you know, the weather's like it's up, it's down, you know, it's warm, it's cold, it's raining, it's trying to snow, wet snow, it's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So, as you can see, I got a jet pump sitting in here, 50 millimeter jet pump, and I'll show you what I did to the back of this boat. First things first, I put a whole coat. Now there is some airy, I guess you would call it air. There's some air in there. I put a whole another coat of 6 ounce inside this because it was very thin, it was very flimsy, and as you can see, I've got a square cut for the jet pump because that's what you need for a jet pump. Here's the you get the stator with the bearing. That's going to be out here. But so the back of this boat was not 90 degrees. It was actually out here, and it went on an angle, like I don't know how many degrees. But I sliced it, I diced it. I'm going to take this jet pump out. I'll flip it over so you can see. I put a step in here because I pushed the back panel back. Here, I'll turn it so you can see. So we've got a step here now. We've got these flanges, which, you know, all in all, looks pretty good. The bottom, that was a little trickier. So we've got this square, or not really a square, but we've got this step down where the jet pump is going to reside. I've kind of shoehorned it, you know, into the keel, and I'm hoping that you know, when the boat turns, these I've radiused with some filler these edges, and I'm hoping that when it turns it doesn't affect it too much. Now I've got all the other holes, and there was some cut throughs. I still have to go over this. There's quite a few places where you have stuff like this where the gel coat is, you know, it's cracked. You know, here's some cracking here, and I have to grind all of this out very, very gently. Overall, though, it's not that bad, but I'm gonna grind it out because if you were to try, let's say, sand it and just put some filler on it, it's probably not gonna take. But the hull itself is it's probably twice as heavy as it was. Like here's some I'm not sure what that is, but we'll get it sanded off. But there's, yeah, it's pretty rough, you know, for its age. I talked to the owner, and he told me that this boat apparently was probably from the 70s. So, you know, that's it's showing its age. That's all I can really say. It's showing its age, but you know, we're gonna get it back up. We're gonna get it cleaned up. You know, we've got a whole, like I say, whole new coat of 6 ounce. Inside we get the back where we need it. We're gonna get the jet pump plumbed into it. Now, Yeah, I got this little weird gap here, but nothing, some silicone and stuff. Once you get the holes cut, probably just the base here needs a little bit of sanding just to get it nice and tight there. But overall, I had this crazy idea looking at this boat. You know, we got the jet nozzle on the back. Obviously, we will have a steering. You know, we'll have a steering nozzle that hooks to this, and yeah, squaring that whole bottom piece was it's gonna be interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna grab the top. I'm gonna set the top back on it because I had this crazy idea. Now, as far as power plant, obviously is going to sit down here. That's kind of a secret of mine, the power plant. So the top, you know, we'll get it glued back on eventually. After I gotta laminate rails. I want to put rails in there so that you have, you know, like inch and a quarter, you know, 7-ply, quarter-inch rails will be laminated parallel, and that's so you can mount stuff like you know, motor, servo, you know, fuel tank, radio box, whatever you need to put in there can be mounted to the rails. It's better than the way that this boat was. This boat just had a big old block of pine or something laminated into the bottom, and I spent a lot of time actually sanding out you know, all the interior of the original boat hull just to eliminate all of that stuff. They had somebody at one point in time had used a lot of epoxy glue, and I'm telling you, when you grind that stuff you know, with a flapper disc or whatnot, that stuff is the nastiest smelling stuff when you're grinding it. You know, of course I had the exhaust fan running, so you know, it was being sucked out, but I could still smell it, and it was pretty nasty smell. So my idea here was, you know, got to do something with the windshield. Not sure, but I was thinking, you know, this boat would look pretty cool with a pilot sitting here holding a steering wheel, and I have these little molds of these dudes that I used to fiberglass up for my cracker boxes, and then got thinking about it. I went up and I got the molds, and I got thinking about it, and I was like, why would I fiberglass these little dudes? I have a 3D printer. I can 3D print me a pretty cool looking, you know, race car driver, steering wheel, arms, the whole bit. And then I got thinking, I was like, well, let's spice it up. Let's spice it up. Let's do something like this. You know, let's put a big old frickin', you know, supercharged engine sitting there with the pilot here, you know, the driver. But then I got thinking, you know, with the motor sitting there and the jet pump way down there, I was like, it doesn't really make sense, does it? You know, even as cool as this motor looks, maybe we could drop, I don't know, maybe we could drop the motor a little bit. Of course, all of this stuff will be mounted on the platform that actually, you know, just kind of sets in here, so it's flat. So you wouldn't have the whole motor. You know, you could, I suppose you could just, let's see if this will come off. I suppose you could just have, yeah, it was just hot glued. I didn't break it. I suppose you could have just a supercharger sitting there, you know, and maybe yeah, I'm gonna pop them off. This stuff is just hot glued. suppose you could have the supercharger just sitting there and maybe exhaust pipes, sticking up on the side. We played around with this yesterday, and we had quite a few different scenarios. That, to me, that makes more sense. That's, kind of showing the motor is sitting lower in the boat. Maybe we'll go with something like that. But yeah, there are all kinds of options. Actually, that's actually not bad. Motor sits down lower, kind of might be in line with the jet pump. Whatever resides underneath here as the power plant, there's lots of room down in there, for the power plant. But yeah, I thought I would just kind of go over this project for something different. I like boats. I've always liked boats. I can't wait to get my jet boat out. I'm pushing forward on this one pretty. Basically, I told the owner that, nah, I still got your coupe to build and finish for you. And, he shipped me this all the way from England, man. And I said, yeah, that's going to go on the back burner. But because I like boats. That's all I'm going to say. I like boats, and I like jet boats. And this is a very when things interest me, I tend to push forward on them very quickly, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're not test running this, in the next few weeks. That's my plan anyway. Get the hull nice and cleaned up. Get the jet pump cut in it. Get a power plant in it, and do some testing, because this whole, like I say, this whole bottom piece that I kind of added, to this, I would consider this type of boat more like a ship. Not a ship, but an early 70s very deep V hull. Not something that I'm familiar with. I did V hulls, but I did shallow V hulls. This is a deep hull. It's going to be interesting to get the pump in it, get the power plant in it, and then float it. Just to see how it sits in the water. I hope that the keel, of the boat, I'm hoping that it sits around here somewhere, that it's all kind of submerged in the water, up to this first, the first strake on the boat. That would be good. Don't want to have to add weight is what I'm kind of going for there. Don't want it to sit up like super high. It's not going to sit up high. Trust me. It's not going to sit up high. It's going to sit. It's going to sit in the water. Hopefully around here, like I say, where this, the last strake is here. If it sat that low in the water, I think the buoyancy of the boat itself will be great. But until we get to a float test, you're just going to have to wait. And you're going to have to come back, and you're going to have to watch some more of this content on this jet boat, man. Because it's got me very intrigued. It's got me very interested. And it's just a matter of time before we get the jet pump in it, get a power plant in it, do a float test. And it'll be quick. It'll be quick. I was putting this on the back burner. But I've always liked my boats, I'd like to do more boats. It's a little bit of a jump outside of the the quarter scale cars and the coupes and the GT40s and the Rayco stuff. It's kind of a step outside of that. It's still large scale RC stuff, which is what I enjoy. And yeah, this is not my choice of boat. This is a project that someone just shot at me, and I never turned down a project, and it's like it'll be interesting. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Sharp Customs. Share, like, subscribe. Thank you for all the views. Thank you to all my subscribers. Love you all. Keep on rocking. Peace. I'm out.